this is the piece I really want women to hear, that you can't just point the finger at your man or a man and say, bring me your leadership. You know, you are part of that equation. You're a part of that co-creation. And like you said before, that receptivity, that openness, that offering him appreciation, celebrating the moments he is taking risks, honoring him, respecting him in those ways is like so fucking important. And then in your own body, being so devoted to meeting the parts of you that want to control.
Yo, 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 lovers. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Sex, Love, and Everything in Between. We're the O'Neills. You're here with Meg and Jacob.
And this is the place we have really uncensored conversations about sex, intimacy, and relationships. We're super excited you're here. Enjoy this episode.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, lovers.
Welcome back.
How are you, my love?
I am really good.
You're looking sexy as fuck today.
I feel real good today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're beaming.
Thank you.
You're radiant.
Thank you.
You are nourishing my nervous system with your energy.
Oh, I have this cute little, well, how far am I now? I'm like 5 and a bit months pregnant, and I love having the bump out.
You've been,
I've been really
flaunting the bump.
I have. On the weekend, everyone, I actually wore Jacob's jeans. I'm really into my wardrobe is usually just all high-waisted stuff, and very quickly being pregnant, I couldn't wear any of it.
Yes.
Like any of it. Mm-hmm. And so I went through the stage of being like, nothing fits me, but I still want to look hot and sexy. And it wasn't feeling fun. So on the weekend we went to some live music, and I was wearing these low-rise pants that I have anyway. And then our friends were over, and they were like, wear Jacob's jeans. It's like, okay.
And you rock them.
Yeah. The crotch was a little low.
Yeah, that's the boyfriend fit.
I think it's a whole thing now. Yeah. So it felt hot.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was saying that because I haven't really worn dresses lately, and I put this dress on today, and I'm like, this looks good.
It looks great.
I don't think it's going to fit me very much longer. Not even because of the bump, but because of the boobs.
The bump and boob combo.
The boobs are a bit ridiculous.
And you got a bit of a dump truck now as well?
Yeah.
Yeah?
And just...
Those hips are widening.
I know, the hips are wide. Like my whole body is just different. It's not just the belly. It's like I'm just curving in all like different places that I didn't expect.
And because your body shape was so petite and like fine, I would say, like it didn't have a lot, like it wasn't super curvy.
I didn't have any curves at all.
No, and it's just like there's so many curves right now.
I know.
It's so beautiful to watch your body evolve.
It is fun, and to really find that, like to feel the sexiness of like, my hips widening and like just this like juicier, riper figure feels really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway, so I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. I'm pretty good. Got a lot on.
Yeah.
And how do I feel? I probably don't ask myself that question enough. How do I feel? How do I feel? What's the right word for it? I feel like I'm laying a lot of foundations right now, and I probably don't have as much momentum in my life as I'd like. And I feel like I'm almost spinning my wheels, but not in like a bad way. I feel like it's in a way that's like preparing me for the next sort of season of growth.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's like a lot of incredible things like coming with my facilitator training and T-GOM coming around again, and it's asking me to like be really, really intentional with my time. And that's, really, I'm having to rewrite some very, very old programs around my use of time and energy, which has been good. It's been really confronting, but I kind of knew that this was what fatherhood or impending fatherhood was going to bring for me.
Impending.
Impending.
That I only ever hear that word, impending doom.
Yeah. There's been a few moments
Impending
where
fatherhood.
it's felt like impending doom, like not so much around the actual thing happening, but around me failing at what I want to be.
Yes.
Yeah. So the impending doom is more around failure than it is the actual thing.
By the time this podcast has come out, I think the episode with you and Tyron would have come out, which you speak into that, don't you?
Yeah. There's some cool stuff that I speak into about that. Yeah.
And Tyron's a friend of Jacob's, who's also in men's work and also is a father to be.
Yeah. His fiance is like a week ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ahead of you rather. Yeah. I'm not pregnant. You are.
I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
We're pregnant. We should do a poll to see who likes that. Is it I'm pregnant or we're pregnant?
You're pregnant. We are becoming parents.
Yes, we're going to be parents. We're having a baby, but I'm pregnant.
We will have a baby in our house in T-3 months.
No, I think it's a little longer than that.
T-minus a little longer than 3 months. I'm also about to I've been sneezing a lot today as well.
You sneezed so much today, this morning.
Yeah. I reckon I sneezed 30 times. Do you reckon it was 30 or like at least 20?
It was at least 10 in a row.
Maybe I'm exaggerating. At least 10 in a row.
10 is a lot. Okay. Any other little chit chat?
I bet you're kind of wishing you didn't ask me that question now, aren't you?
What do you mean? How are you?
I sort of took that and ran with it, didn't I? Dear diary.
I do like to get into the podcast and talk about what we like.
What we're here to talk about.
What we're here to talk about. But I also love, I know that the people love just hearing about our life too. So anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to bring? Any updates for the people before we have this conversation?
No. Wait a second. No.
Okay.
Let me go on a 10-minute monologue about something that has nothing to do with today's topic.
Do you want to share where we're going today?
We are going into the realms of, would you call this feminine surrender? Or the art of, or almost like this, I would call like a deep desire of woman. Without giving too much away, would you like to say what you think it is?
Well, I really want to, I've been having a lot of conversations online and with my community right now around this desire that many feminine women experience, this desire to be claimed and to feel their man's masculine power and to be able to experience the texture of his leadership, right? And his decision making and his direction and guidance. And I wanted to have a conversation about our journey of that, because I'm sure lots of people, and I share many stories of how phenomenal you are at leading and claiming me, and you show up as an incredibly powerful man in life, but especially in our relationship. And I want to really tell the story of how we got to that place, because that isn't how we started 10 years ago.
Definitely not.
And that was not the dynamic that we had. And why I want to tell this story, or why I want to like give insight into this, is that I truly believe that in relationship we can evolve, but it doesn't take just one person. It has to be the evolution of both humans and this devotion of both humans to shifting that dynamic. And often that can be led by one human. And from what I've witnessed, a lot of the time that is a woman in a heterosexual relationship. And this is part of feminine leadership. And I really, anytime we talk about a woman desiring her man's leadership, I never want anyone listening to think that means that the feminine doesn't lead at all, or the feminine doesn't have any qualities of leadership. No fucking way. I actually believe the feminine is the pulse of a relationship, because it's her desires, her yearning, her wants that she brings forth and actually births the relationship and leads it and takes it to new places. And so often it's a woman that goes, hey, I want something different. Hey, I want more. Hey, let's go over here. Hey, let's evolve this relationship. And that's through her leadership that she's really birthing a new version of the relationship.
This is what, like in the polarity world, people call the oracle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That oracular wisdom, yeah.
Yeah, the feminine oracle, which is like this deep knowing this deep yearning for more. Yeah, for the next evolution, the next growth. And it's so, this is why so many women have a feminine core, is because they literally operate on a 28-day cycle. They're constantly death and rebirth. And this is like why women, I feel, are so attuned to that like deeper desire for continual growth, is because they're constantly going through that cycle themselves. And men who don't have that we don't have that bodily function. So therefore, if we don't create that in our lives, we're not attuned to it. And that is why I think being in a relationship with a woman who has that gift is really, really powerful.
I love that. And I've never probably spoken into it in that way or reflected on it in that way, because that's so beautiful that with a woman bleeds, and every single month it's this invitation to let what is ready to die. And so we then hold this ability to look out at life and honor what needs to die, right?
Yeah.
So that what is new can be reborn. And that's such a gift when we bring that to relationship, to be able to say, this dynamic, this way we're doing things, this way we're showing up for each other is ready to die.
Yep.
So that a new way, a new dynamic, a new evolution of our union can be birthed.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally built into your biology.
And so, yeah, I wanted to deepen into a conversation today around how our relationship began and the dynamic we had. And then, how we got here to a place where I would say we do really play that polarizing, game in our relationship, or we play with the dynamics of polarity, where I deeply yearn for your power and your energetic spanking, right? And that leadership, I yearn to melt into you and our relationship and feel you so deeply penetrating me and penetrating our space that I have no choice but to be in my body and to melt into my body. But that has been such a motherfucking journey.
Yeah.
To be able to receive that part of you and experience that part of you.
Yeah, and let alone like me cultivate it as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's like why so much of a relationship is an ongoing willingness to deepen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, where do we want to begin? At the beginning.
A long, long time ago, in a land about 100 kilometers from where we live now, Brisbane City.
Cannon Hill,
Ray Organics. There was a young man, strapping young fellow. Let's start with, I'm going to speed up, and we're going to start, I reckon we just start into that point where we got to, like, we got together and you were very much like clear on what you wanted. I was very much just going with the flow.
Yes. Which I found really sexy. Even looking at, if those of you haven't listened to our episode on dating, which I think was episode 71 or 70.
70, I believe.
70. We took you back to when we first started dating and my journal entries for that time. And that was such a good episode. And I remember how much I was reflecting on, I loved how chilled you were.
Yeah.
How chilled out you were. And if we're thinking of like polarity and like polarizing energies, I was attracted to that because I was not that, right? I was more in my masculine energy of, I know how to get shit done. I know what I want in the world, right? So that, like, I used to come into the Ray Organics and you would be juggling fruit and like, you were just so like, there was this blasé energy to you. And
I was going to go with a different word, but anyway.
What word are you going to go for?
Presence.
that is true too. I don't want to, I'm not like shitting on you, but there was like this part of you that was like really chilled. I would say, and I'm sure you often reflect on this time in your life. You didn't have a lot of direction. You were in this like, I ride to work, I go to work, I come home, and that was really attractive to me at that time.
Yeah, I believe that I had a level of, I had a lifestyle that was very carefree.
Yeah.
And it was carefree because I didn't have a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
And when I didn't have a lot of responsibility, I didn't have a lot of things vying for my attention, so I could be present.
Yeah.
But that presence was built upon a foundation of very little responsibility.
Yes.
So you'd come in and you'd see me juggling the fruit. That was because I didn't have to think about anything else.
Yeah.
I didn't have a woman at home. I didn't have a vision that was calling me forward. I was in this beautiful kind of in between, this limbo state in my life where I was just coming back to who I was before the vision could be anchored, before the woman could present herself, before all of the next steps for my life were coming online. And because I don't know why that attracted you, but yeah, for me, it's like, there was this blaseness, but there was almost like, there was this level of like freedom that I was experiencing.
Yes. Can I take back blasé?
No, you can't. I'm going to hold on to that and use it in a future argument.
Can I have another go at that?
No.
Hey.
Don't try and use all of our tools. But I feel that I was living I had a lot of freedom in my life because I didn't have a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
So that I think can be really, I think like a man who feels free is very attractive to a woman.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think we could deepen into a conversation around that. But
easily, yeah. But the key piece for me is that I was free. I felt very free, but I didn't have a lot of responsibility. So my freedom was never really, it wasn't cultivated through challenge or adversity or through deepening into more service. It was just me being very self-serving and I work here, I make money, I eat what I want, I look after myself. It was very self-serving, which is what I'd call immature masculine.
Yes. And I see this even we spoke to this in that dating episode, like the spiritual kind of fuckboy archetype.
Yeah.
It experiences a lot of freedom, but it's free of responsibility. I don't want a relationship. I don't want anything to tie me down because I want to be free.
Yeah.
But the ultimate masculine practice, and really what you teach, is freedom through responsibility.
Correct.
Freedom through anchoring a vision, freedom through purpose.
Yeah, and freedom through, devotion.
Yeah.
So that's the key piece, is that a lot of men, I guess we're speaking about this now, but quickly, men can experience freedom sitting on a mountaintop doing nothing. That's easy. That's, that essentially is like, there's no responsibility other than to take care of my being. Yeah. Then what will happen is that they'll either add one or the other. They'll either add career or relationship, and they can normally seek freedom through one or two of those, but very rarely can they hold both. Yeah. And this is where men get tripped up. They're like, fuck, should I go for my vision? Should I go for my relationship? And they toss and turn with those two. And that's where the wrestle comes in of like, how do I continually experience freedom and engage with a woman on a deep devotional level and also embrace the journey that moving towards my vision takes me on? Yes. And sometimes they can feel like they're pulling you in two different directions, because one is creating like impact and the other one is creating intimacy, and those two things can sometimes they can sometimes feel like there's you're holding tension in your body, which is where like the freedom comes from your nervous system. And expanding your capacity. So it's like, hey, I can hold this woman and her deep desires for me to command and dominate in our love life. And I can also hold the tension of, I have a great vision to serve humanity and deliver my gift to the world. And that requires my time, energy, and resource. And I can give to that as well because I've got the nervous system for that. Yes. And go on. What were you going to say? And I did not have that back when I was juggling oranges. My nervous system did not have any of that capacity. All it had capacity for was whistling, juggling, riding a bike to and from suburbs in Brisbane, and drinking coffee and Red Bull vodkas. And also, I want to acknowledge you were 24, and I love the work of Alison Armstrong, and I love what she really deeply speaks into is like
the different stages of a man's life, and him, he doesn't really step into his kinghood or his kingdom until he's in his 40s or
Correct.
later. And we need to be able to honor that time it takes for a man to cultivate that internally, but then also his external kingdom, right? His success, his responsibilities in the world, all of those different things. And I think, we're going on a few different tangents here, but I think they're important. I think it's really important to honor this as women, that we can't click our fingers and go, be masculine, provide for me. If you're dating currently and you have those desires, obviously you can be out in the world and be holding a standard for that, but also, honoring and offering our partner or future partner grace in becoming who they're here to be and stepping into their power.
100%.
There was one thing I wanted to add. Just remember how lately we've been talking a lot about I said to you, if I would want to spend, if I got to choose to spend every single moment of every day with you, I would.
Yeah.
And you were like, and I already knew this, we've had many conversations about this, but you were like, no, I would not choose that. And then, and I'm sure it's okay I share this, we were on the phone to one of your siblings.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked her the question, and she's, not in this work at all, or doesn't really, know about polarity or anything like this. And I asked her, hey, if you, and her husband was there, and I said, hey, if you got to spend every moment of every day with your husband, would you? And she goes, yeah, of course. And he goes, no way. And I think that speaks so beautifully to a man's desire for freedom and a woman's deep yearning for love and relationship and connection. Like women, we ache for connection. We ache for intimacy. And I know there's exceptions to this, but from what I've witnessed in men and women, this is really, common across the board. And I think as a woman, it's really important that we honor our man's yearning for freedom and not take offense, not take it personally, not be offended by it. Like when you tell me, hey, I need space, I need to go surfing, I need to do that, I don't want to spend every waking hour with you because I'm on mission and I want to go serve and fill my cup in other ways. Like I understand I understand we're different. I understand we're deeply different.
Do you?
Sometimes I struggle, but I understand that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's just a really important piece to bring into the conversation.
Yeah, very important piece.
Do you want to add anything to that?
No.
Okay.
Well said.
Okay, so Ray Organics, you were juggling fruit, and I was really attracted to that, freedom and that chilled out energy. And at that time, I was very much in this would you say I don't know if it was ultra independent, but it was very much I don't need you. I don't need a man. I don't even want and it was very much I'll be a whole human and you be a whole human and we come together as whole humans.
Yeah, there wasn't any neediness or insecurity or from you were quite, what I felt and what I reflect on at the early stages, it was there wasn't any pressure from you for me to be a certain way. There wasn't any kind of, I need you to be this, and there wasn't any gripping. Even though you deeply desired it, you were very clean in the way that you brought that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a testament to you. And you do say that, that was your puppy dog spiritual era, but I still think that was a really powerful time for you in creating what you wanted. And I felt that that's what kind of confused me and why I but I wasn't aware of, I wasn't very good at dating, but you didn't seem to have any neediness. So for me, as a people pleaser, it was well, you don't need anything from me. So why, what have I got to give you? I don't have any value. That was my perspective on it. Yes. Which then kind of feeds into my, you were independent. You didn't have, you sort of separated, you hadn't separated from your old sort of friend group, but you were choosing to walk a new path, which has you severing sort of your ties to the old community and starting to walk this new path and connect with new people. And there's a level of independence that you need to cultivate to be able to do that, and courage.
And I think as we continued to, like, once we got together, I was very much like, I know what I want. You come along for the ride.
Here, let's go do, like, here, this is where we're going.
I was leading. I was making decisions. Hey, come to yoga with me. Hey, this is what I love. Come and do it with me. Yeah. I was making a lot of the decisions in our relationship, and you were very much like, okay, like, you were very go with the flow. Yeah. Like, okay, I'll go and do this class with you. Okay, I'll go to yoga with you. Okay, we'll, go and do whatever we were doing.
And that's a pattern that I've had my whole life.
Yeah.
It's not just all of a sudden that I was with you. That was something that I'd always done. I'd always just, if someone, I used to use the excuse like, oh, I'm happy doing whatever. Like, I'll do, if I can have fun doing anything, and I can, but that also doesn't mean that I ever really deepen into anything of my real desires. So it means that I'm always just skimming off the surface. So yeah, for me, that was just the way that I thought relationships worked. The other person said what they wanted to do, and I agreed to it.
Yes. And that worked for us for what, like 3, maybe even 4 years?
Yeah, it really worked because you were you'd done, enough sort of self-discovery work, personal development, whatever we want to call it, and you'd realized where you wanted to go. And I hadn't. I definitely had not.
Yeah.
But you were fun, you were exciting, and you had a direction. So I was like, cool. Let me, even though I did really fucking like you, there's still that part of me that was just still responding to, okay, okay, this is my programming. Yep, I'll do whatever you want to do. Yep, we do yoga. Yep, okay, we go and do this. Yes, okay, we do this.
And even at the time, like, I was in a network marketing business, and it was my dream to have you quit your job and join me.
Yes.
And that was like, I want to, and that was very much the kind of culture of network marketing. It's like, retire your husband or retire your partner. And that was my dream. It was like, you won't have to work. You can just follow me around. You can just be in my business. You can just do what I want you to do.
You can just fit into my little sort of version of, you have a very specific place that fits within my reality.
And yes. And I think that is, even though you said I wasn't pressuring you to be something, there was like, because you didn't have a lot of direction at that time, it worked really well for me to be like, this is what I want you to be. I want you to come to yoga with me. I want you to quit your job and join my business. And all of these things happened. And then it got to a stage probably 4 years into our relationship. I think I read the book, Intimate Communion by David Data. And then I was also on this journey through, our plant medicine work and some other work, that I was beginning this descent into my body, into my pussy, into the depth of my feminine. So I was no longer just operating from this like shoulders up spirituality. I was becoming an embodied woman. And as I became this embodied woman, I began to feel these new desires unfurl, or these new desires come to the surface that I hadn't yet connected with. And it was these desires around, I don't want you to just fit into this life I've created for us. I don't want you to be almost like this puppet. I'm like, hey, quit your job. Hey, come over here and do this thing. I was discovering this part of me that wanted to be led and wanted to melt into you and wanted to be dominated by you and wanted to be so deeply claimed. And didn't want to be this like, I'm independent, I'll show us where to go, or I'm kind of like, follow me. I realized, that isn't actually feeding the depth of what I want out of a relationship.
Which is like, for me, what I'm taking from what you've just shared is the whole concept of like, you weren't exhausted. You weren't like, I'm just sick of making decisions. I'm exhausted. I'm done. It was more, you had an experience of like deepening into a desire rather than being exhausted by playing a role that didn't suit you.
It completely.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I never had resentment for you. No, I don't think I ever held resentment for you in this way, but there was this like, oh, I think I'm a woman that wants this. I never knew I wanted this. I never knew I wanted to be ravished and claimed and to feel your like penetrating me with your masculine power. This was like a new experience for me to even like contemplate or like feel that desire coming alive in me.
Yeah, which once again, when I speak about your cleanliness when it comes to communication, like it's one of your like superpowers, is that the desire awoke within your body and you came and brought it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did it in a pretty, I would say, a very clean way. Whereas I feel like as Instagram reels have popped off and everyone's got, you know, all of these really, really buzzwordy kind of takes on polarity and different things, I feel like women can start to like sort of chip, like just like chip away at, oh, that's a desire. Yeah, that's what I want. But then there's like this frustration and not knowing how to actually cleanly bring that and how to actually like invoke that in a man. Whereas I feel like because we were both willing, we were able to deepen into it. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I see is like people like get this new information, but then they don't know how to actually like shift from this dynamic to this other dynamic. And for men, especially if you're like me, where a lot of your self-worth is tied up in the validation you receive for doing things for others, now you're all of a sudden saying you don't want me to do that, and I have to now lead and do the complete opposite, and that's going to make you feel even better than what I've already been doing. Oh shit! That's news to me. And I remember reading Intimate Communion as well and being like, holy fuck, there's this whole other way of relating that I have not tapped into yet.
Did reading that book excite you? Like I remember reading that, or like being introduced to, like you said, another way of relating and feeling like my body respond, being like, I want that. Wow. Like I didn't even realize I wanted that, but I want to taste that. I want to feel that. Was that something you...
I don't think that's my default. I think that like my default is to feel shame around the fact that I didn't already know that. And then, I feel you're so good. Like when I see you, like you'll like absorb new information, like, oh my God, how exciting. And I'll absorb it and I'll go, fuck, I've been doing it wrong for so long.
Okay.
I'll look back and be like, fuck. And I'll instantly go into judgment on how I've been showing up. Like for me, when I read that, I kind of wrote off the first 4 years of our relationship as me not being good enough.
And I think that speaks so beautifully into what we often talk about, like one of the biggest wounds for a woman is I'm too much, especially in a relationship. And for a man, it's I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And I think this is why I really want to bring this conversation forth, because as a woman comes into feeling this desire, maybe it's for the first time, or coming into connection with this desire to be ravished, to be claimed, to feel, you know, her man's masculine power. It is so important we offer this or bring this in a way where we're not communicating to our man, you're not enough, you haven't been enough, right? It's important we bring a level of sensitivity, because when a man feels small or criticized or that he isn't enough, that's not the place he is going to rise from or be able to serve you most deeply from.
No. Definitely not. That's the way that I look at that, is like if you can either rule by fear or rule by love, like lead with fear or lead with love. And if you're leading with fear, you're only going to create more separation. You might get what you want, but you're still going to be leading. You're still going to be in control. You haven't invoked and started to dance with the other person. You've been like, this is how you need to act for me to be able to surrender to you. So go and do these 5 things, and then away we go. So he goes and he books the weekend away. He sends you the text. He buys the dress. He brings the flowers. And when you hop in the car, there's this numbness because you have said that he needs to do this. So he's just jumping through hoops. He is once again doing as he's told, and it's completely derailed. And the formula that you thought was going to fix and deepen and solve all of your intimacy problems has just perpetuated a deeper level of disconnection between you.
Yes.
And created more resentment between the two of you. So,
oh my God, everything you just said.
Surprise, surprise. It's not just the formula, it's how you relate. It's the energy and the way that you bring it and move it between the two people. Which is my favorite thing to talk about. All the other stuff is, I just love the energetics of it. Erotic blueprint. Energetic.
Hey.
Yeah?
I need to pee.
Meg, we're halfway through.
I know, but I'm pregnant.
Don't say it all cute like. So wait, where are we up to? We're up to?
The energetic. We're going to dive in. I've got a question I want to ask you, but cool. I'm going to go pee first.
Okay.
My love, if you are a woman that deeply desires to be claimed, cherished, chosen, ravished in partnership, whether you are currently in partnership or not, you are going to want to join me here on the Gold Coast in July. I am holding an in-person immersion for 3 entire days devoted to breathing down the walls of your heart, opening your body, liberating your expression, and becoming a woman able to be claimed, cherished, and chosen in partnership. I have not run an in-person event or a women-only event in a very long time, and given the baby I'm about to have, I will not for a while after this. So this is a very special opportunity to come and work with me in person with a very intimate amount of women. We are going to go deep. It is going to be an unforgettable 3 days. And if you are feeling the call to join us, come and apply ASAP. There is limited spaces. You're going to want to go to the link in the show notes or meg-o'neill.com/claimed-immersion, or just head to my Instagram. All the information is there. Can't wait to be with you. We're back. I've peed.
You've peed. How are you feeling?
Good.
Feeling nimble? Feeling
I can't concentrate
mobile?
when I need to pee.
Can't you?
No.
Why not? Too much pressure?
Yeah, but that was before I got pregnant too.
You can't use pregnancy as an excuse for that.
No.
You wanted to ask a question.
I kind of want to circle back to, I want to dive into the energetics and the way you just said, like the formula piece.
Yeah.
But first of all, I want to ask, I know when you said you read, Intimate Communion, and you were like, I want to write off the first 4 years, like I was almost doing it wrong or it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point, because I want to get into the stage of our relationship where I started to bring this desire and we started to shift the dynamic of our relationship, because it wasn't as if we clicked our fingers and you were organizing things and one of the things you're the greatest at in our relationship now is when I'm in chaos, or when I'm like, you can feel I'm like yearning for containment or yearning to deeply melt, is when to step in, and I call it like you energetically spank me, or you energetically like grab me by the throat.
Yes.
And that's like so fucking sexy, but that's been something that you've refined and it's taken time for you to step into that. So I really want to get into the conversation around like what unfolded in our relationship to move us to the place we're at now. But my question right now is, was there ever a point where what I brought made you feel not enough?
I don't think what you brought made me feel that way. Mm-hmm. I think that the awareness, once I'd gotten this new information around sexual polarity, around the energetics, around the different styles of relating, once I'd gotten that information, I was like, fuck, I've been flying blind my whole life. And in that, there was a feeling of like, I should have known this. Why didn't I know this already? There was always a part of me. And once again, so my childhood was just like, I should know better. Yeah. I should always know better. Like I'm the eldest child. I'm the one that should know better. You should. Yeah. There was always so much should in my life that I now see I see things through the lens of, rather than like, oh, this is a great opportunity, I see it as, why haven't I already done this? Why am I so far behind? So that is my own shit.
Yeah.
And I would say that when I do alchemize that, I then see it as an opportunity to do better.
Yeah.
Rather than I never want to be who I was again, because that's me rejecting my old self. So it's more around like, now like once I'd read Intimate Communion, got all the way through it, I remember just being like, this all makes so much sense. And because I'm so hyper vigilant and aware of things, like I was able to like start to understand how to move in our relationship with a whole lot more nuance, probably is the word, where I was like, oh, cool, all right, I know how to, and it started off with pretty basic stuff, but it was like, oh, cool, all right, if you've worked all day, and it's like, I'm not going to let you like just keep staying in that. I was like, okay, I'll run the bath, I'll make the dinner, I will create a container for you to to melt into.
I remember one of the things you first started to do was you would come into my office and go, or you would say, you're finishing work in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Especially because at that time I would work. I had a tendency to work late into the night, or just like work. And you would be like, you're finishing in 10 minutes. And then I'm running you a bath. And then you'd come in and you'd literally close my laptop.
Yes.
And there was, the part of me, and I'll get into more of this later, but the part of me that wanted to just like, no, oh my God, no. But then also underneath that was the part of me that was like, oh, like, yes. Yeah. Energetically dominate me. So like, tell me what to do. Yeah. Like, let me just like melt.
Yeah. And I think there was like, that sort of beginning of like repolarizing our relationship was around, very simple, very structured action.
Yeah.
And being like, fuck it, let's see how this goes.
And you were, I want to really honor you for taking risks. And I think this is I speak about this so much with my Women Inside Full Spectrum Woman, that when we're stepping more into our feminine and we're wanting to offer that into our partnership, it requires us to take risk. Right? Take risks. So if you want to bring, your eroticism in a way that you've never done it before, you're going to feel fucking nervous, or you don't know how your partner's going to react or what response they're going to have to a new part of you. Or if you bring, if you play with like bringing your jealous bitch, or like the part of you that tantrums, or the part of you that's like, I want to spend every moment of every day with you. Like, instead of being like, oh yeah, whatever, I don't need you. Like, when you bring these new parts of yourself to your man, it's risky as fuck because you've never done it before and you do not know what's going to happen. And I remember that and like so deeply honor that in that season of our relationship is you were so willing to get it wrong or to fuck it up. You were so willing to lean in and be like, I'm going to walk in and I'm going to close Meg's laptop and she might kick and scream and she might get angry or she might melt into a puddle of deep feminine, opening and surrender. I don't know, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to try. I'm going to take a risk. And that was bold.
Yeah. Well, it was either, this is the new level of awareness. And if I don't take this action, then I'm denying what I now know to be true.
Yeah.
So I'm going against what life is asking of me.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether, that's the way that I saw it. It's like, well, what? Yeah, it was rather than be like, what if I fuck up? It was more about, what if this is the actual way? What if this is the way? What if this is the next step? And that's what that became a bit of my mantra. Like, the next step is the next step. Yeah. Regardless of whether I succeed or fail, the next step is the next step.
And this is something that I've, been in, this is like the depth of my practice in relationship. But also something I am consistently reminding women of who desire more from their man or like desire, more of this leadership quality is you must offer him grace.
Yes.
Right? I even told that story the other day of like, or you must be aware that he's not always going to get it right. If you want your man to lead, he's not always going to make decisions that feel amazing for you or right in the moment. Like the other day, you took me to breakfast and it was so sexy. I was on the phone to my mum and you just like leant over and mouthed to me, "I'll order for us." And I was like, yes. Like, I just loved that. I'm not even going to look at a menu. I just get like food brought to me. Yes. And then the food came out and you'd ordered me tomato soup.
With gluten-free bread. I remember the gluten-free bread, didn't I?
But it was our first meal of the day, but it was like at 1 o'clock. So they didn't have a breakfast menu anymore, but I was expecting like eggs or I don't know. And then it came out with tomato soup. And there was a part of me that back in the day, maybe when we were first playing with these dynamics, that would have projected this energy of like, you're wrong. Like, why the fuck did you order me tomato soup? You fucked that up. I knew I couldn't trust you. I'll just go and order something. And it might not have been those words, but that would have been the energetic underneath my body language, my like huffing and puffing or whatever it would have been.
Yeah.
And instead, last week or whenever this was, when this happened, like, I just felt the contraction and I felt the part of me that didn't want the tomato soup. And I let you feel that. I didn't make you wrong. I didn't blame you. I just let you witness the part of me that was disappointed.
I don't want this. That's not what I want.
And immediately also because I wasn't making you wrong or I wasn't having this energy of like, I knew you wouldn't get it right.
There was like
or you don't know how to lead me. You don't know how to make the right decisions. You fucked this up. Because I wasn't bringing that to the space, it actually offered you an opportunity to even lead me and hold me in an even greater way. Because I was like, you were like, "What's up, my love? I know something's up." And I was like, "I don't want tomato soup." I was like, "I really don't feel like the soup." And you just said, "That's okay. I'll eat it. Here's my card. Go inside, look at the menu and order whatever you want." And I was like, "Are you sure?" There was part of me that was like, no, I don't like.
I'm going to be a good guy. I'm going to eat the tomato soup. You were never going to eat it.
No, I wasn't. But there was part of me that was still like, but, and you said, no. And this is where you energetically spanked me. You said, no, you said,
Did I?
Yeah, you were like
that.
Maybe not like that, but you did something. You were like, kind of like,
just go inside now. Order what you want. And
you said you can either make a thing of this, or you can go inside, order what you want. We can continue having a great day. What are you going to choose? I was like, oh, okay. Obviously going to go inside, order what I want and not make a thing of this. And it was so fucking sexy. And I just really want to speak into this because this is our practice as the feminine. It's realizing that our partner isn't always going to get it right. And our disappointment is welcome in the space. The part of us that's like, like this isn't it, is welcome in the space, but not from a place of projection or making him wrong.
You get to feel your disappointment, but you don't get to project that onto your partner as a judgment.
Yes.
Of his actions. So it's like, yeah, I did order the tomato soup. Fact. You feel disappointed because it's not what you want. Fact. That doesn't mean that you need to project that disappointment onto me to say that, hey, you're wrong. But you can feel that disappointment. I can read the disappointment in the way that you express. Like, oh, what's up, my love? And then you can say, hey, I don't really feel like tomato soup. Cool. And then I get to make a decision on whether or not I take that personally.
And that, yeah.
And I'm like, fuck it. Like, it's tomato soup. And then I was like, then you share, you're having coffee? Okay, yep. It's the first meal of the day. Yeah, tomato soup probably wasn't the best fucking call, but you know what? I made a call and I'm going to, it's on the table. I'll eat it. But I then had to make the decision of whether I get to like stand my ground. Like, okay, well then if you don't want to eat it, I'll eat it, but I'm not going to, you're just going to have to go hungry. Like I didn't have to be an asshole about it. I got to like re-engage with a deeper level of, I guess, direction. I'd be like, okay, well then if we're not going here, well then we're going here. And if you want to make this mean something and turn this into a big thing, you can, or you can go and get what you want right now and we can continue on with this day.
So sexy.
And it's like, I get to give you not an ultimatum, but I get to put you into a position where like, this is, you can choose to turn this into something that it doesn't need to be. And I'm going to, I'll go there with you if you want to tussle, but I feel that there's a better option here, which is go and get the food that you want, come back, sit down, and we're going to continue having a great day.
And I also want to honor that takes a lot to not take that personally, even when a woman isn't projecting blame, but when when you've taken a risk in relationship, when you've done this so many fucking times in our relationship where it hasn't landed. My last birthday, when we went fucking kayaking.
Did not land.
And it was a surprise. We rocked up. I didn't know where we were going. You woke me up so early. And then I got wet in the kayak immediately. And then I felt seasick the entire time. And like, I wasn't going to hide that I wasn't enjoying the experience. I was just showing you and I also wasn't like, fuck you fucked up. How dare you ruin my birthday? Like, it was just like, I'm cold and I'm sick right now and I'm disappointed. And
Were you sick?
What do you mean?
Oh, seasick.
Seasick.
Yeah.
No, I was just like, I literally wanted to throw up in the kayak. But you chose, instead of to become small and almost be like, fuck you, I tried and I took a risk and you're not appreciative.
Yeah.
You held and you continued to stay in your leadership. You continued to stay in your power of, okay, I took a risk. This hasn't gone down, but I'm going to continue to lead this moment. Mm-hmm. And so when we got out of the kayak, we went in the car and you like put my favorite country song on and I started crying and you were like, this isn't the end of today. We're going to have an incredible day. It kind of, again, you're kind of like leading the moment of, hey, I understand that this moment didn't work out and I've still got you. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go to Bayleaf. We're going to have an incredible breakfast. Then I'm going to take you to get a massage. Then I'm going to do this. Like, you didn't drop me because I didn't respond in the way that oh my God, thank you. This is the best moment of my life. Mm-hmm. And often when a lot of the time that is my reaction, deep appreciation, and a lot of the things you lead on do land, but the reality is that's not life.
No.
That is not life. And if anyone's expecting to be able to take these dynamics of like polarity and to go to their partner, be more masculine and think that they're going to lead and get it right in every single moment and you're never going to feel disappointed again. Like, no, that's not reality. That's not life. And part of playing with these dynamics is playing in the gritty, messy moments too, and continuing to hold. As a woman, continuing, like for me, my practice in the tomato soup experience or the birthday experience was, can I continue to open to this instead of closing my heart and blocking him out or withholding? Can I continue to reveal what's alive for me? Can I continue to open? Can I continue to trust him? And then the depth of your practice was, can I continue to hold? Can I continue to lead?
Totally. And if you expect your partner to perfectly lead or perfectly submit to you, then you've got a control issue and your nervous system needs some work. That's essentially it. Like, the way that I see it is that for a woman who needs her partner to lead perfectly in the way that she needs him to,
yeah,
you're still trying to control.
Yeah,
you're still trying to. If he orders a tomato soup and you like, see, I fucking knew it. He has no fucking clue who I am. Versus actually acknowledging the action step of leadership versus the outcome of what you needed that leadership action to be. You are still trying to control and lead your relationship. You are still trying to, be in the seat of awareness and not letting yourself, you're not actively practicing being with your partner's leadership.
And I want to speak into why many women desire their man's leadership, because what it makes possible for a woman.
Yes.
And I'll speak from my own experience. I love when you lead and offer me experiences like, I'm going to order for you. I have a surprise for you. I've organized the day. I'm not going to, I'm not going to tell you what it is, or come in and close the laptop. All of those things place me or contain me or create a container where I can melt into my body, where it's an invitation for me not to be in my head, not to have to hold consciousness of the situation, not to have to be, vigilant of what's going on, but I get to rest deeply into the container you create for me, which is an incredibly pleasurable experience.
Yes.
Once I've moved past my patterns of control and the parts of me that want to control and make sure you're doing it right and think I know better. Underneath that is the part of me that just wants to melt into my body and melt into this like container, right? And you've created that container. And so I just wanted to get clear on that when we're talking about that like control piece that can often come up for women. Underneath the pattern of I know best and I'm going to try and control you and you should do it this way and I know better is actually underneath that is often the part of us that so deeply wants to release the fucking control because we want to taste the depth and oceans of surrender that is made possible when we truly relinquish control and allow ourselves to melt into the container that our partner is creating for us.
Yes.
Like that is the doorway to this. And this is a spiritual experience. This is a spiritual practice. This is feminine spiritual practice. It's can we surrender into life itself, into God, into the container that life is creating for us. And our relationship becomes like a microcosm of that.
Yes. I fucking love that, my love. What do you feel? Can I ask a quick question? I just want to sort of circle back. Why do you, say there's a woman listening to this and she's like, fuck yeah, I want to be ravished. Fuck yeah, I want to feel that containment from a man's masculine field of awareness, his consciousness. And maybe she was a bit independent like you were and like very comfortable with her direction and vision and what she wants and knows how to get it, so to speak. But then this deeper desire to be ravished is unlocked or activated for whatever reason, whether it's reading a book, listening to a podcast, having a sexual awakening, whatever it is. Many different ways lead to this point for women. What are some of the things that you feel women struggle with when they get met with this? So like we've been saying, a woman can be like, okay, now you have to lead me in this way to do this thing at this time, and can kind of like put all of can still be playing a little bit of like conductor of the orchestra, but want the man to be in control, but in the way that they want it. So what are some of the ways that you see women struggle? Like they still sit in that seat of, I want to be in control, but I want to be led. What do you feel is like some of the things there?
Well, that's the piece. It's the control piece, which obviously I actually do not know a woman that doesn't have, this embodied pattern of control. And of course we do. It's a protective mechanism.
Yeah.
And this not only shows up in relationship, but it shows up with our larger relationship with life or our larger relationship with spirit. And again, this is why I feel this is like the depth of feminine practice. And, men also have a feminine energy. So this is a practice, they can practice too in relationship to life. But it's this practice of relinquishing the part of us or melting down the walls we have that tell us that we need to control the outcome. We need to control and create certainty so that we are safe. Right? And, like you said then, so often when a woman is first meeting this part of her that I want to be claimed, I want to feel his leadership, what I see is the part of her that then is trying to control how that unfolds, control how he does that. The part of her that says, I know better. If you have a part of you that says, I know better, and you're bringing that and allowing that to be at the forefront of your relationship, you will never experience the leadership and the claim and the ravishment that the deeper part of you is yearning for. An integral, necessary part of being a woman that's able to receive his leadership, receive his power, receive his claim, is doing the work to meet the parts of you that feel the need to control, feel the need to know better and to tell him what to do. And that's confronting as fuck. I've had many moments of that in our relationship where, you know, I've asked you, hey, I brought my desire forth with an open heart of like, I want you to plan special days for me so I don't have to think about it and I can just melt. And then you do that and I've been critical. Or I've been like, why didn't you do this? Or why are we leaving at this time? Or there's part of me that is trying to fight you for the lead. That's like wanting, I've asked for something, and then once I've asked for it, it's almost like, no, I don't trust you to lead me right now. I'm still trying to fight to control. I'm trying to find and criticize where you haven't gotten it right, so I can use that as an excuse to be like, see, I can't trust him, and I can go back into the familiar seat of having control again and knowing better. So yes. Just to kind of summarize that, it's this familiarity with this pattern and of I know best and I want to control.
Yeah.
That's and I just also want to honor, that's huge. That is such a practice to breathe down those walls. And it's also what we deeply crave as women. It's like the ultimate thing we crave. We want to be fucked out of our heads. Right? I wrote this thing this week on Instagram because a lot of the women I work with and a lot of the women listening to this would be entrepreneurs, would be like women out there in business, making things happen. And there is a deep yearning within these women, I know within me, to come into the container of our relationship and literally have the boss babe fucked out of us. The part of us that has to make all the decisions, the part of us that's like, I know how to get shit done and I know how to strategize and I know how to like lead. Yes, that's a powerful part of a woman. And I'm not saying don't be that. I am that in a huge portion of my life, but I don't necessarily want to be that in our relationship. I literally want to come into our relationship and have that part of me dominated and fucked all the way out of me. And again, that takes being willing to relinquish control.
Thank you for sharing that, my love. The piece that I'm taking from this and because I get a lot of messages from women, they're like, I want my man to just like, I want like what you have with me. I want my man to be like, and I'm like, stop focusing on what I'm doing and start witnessing the way that Meg is shifting from control to receptivity. Yes. And this is the piece. So I know you want to speak. I'm going to continue to speak for a moment.
Okay.
What I can take the lead no matter what. Like I can go and I can make all the decisions, make all the money, do all of the things and do everything right by the book as per intimate communion. However, if you are not practicing receptivity, if you are not relinquishing control and practicing receptivity, I will only ever be met with resistance. I'll only be met with expectation. I'll only be met with buts and shoulds and no's and ifs from you because you are not, and there is a tussle and we've got to honor the tussle, of course. But if that is if that's where you take your stand of like, I'm not relinquishing control, he has to do it this way, and anything that he does that is unknown to me is actually not okay, then you are not practicing receptivity. You are not practicing trust. You're not having faith in the actual energetic exchange that's going on in your relationship. So for me, one of the greatest things that a woman can do in regards to that desire is to make them known, hey, I want to feel your leadership. I want to feel your direction. I want to feel your power and assertiveness in our relationship. You don't then set a task list. You can share how you would like that. I want to be taken out. I want to be spoiled. I want to be celebrated. I want to be I want to be on display. I want people to know that I'm your woman. Happy days. But then you sit back into the seat of receptivity and you practice invoking that through being in that energy. Being in that, surrendering to life moving through you and drawing his leadership out of him rather than demanding it be shown in this specific way to create this specific outcome so you can have the feeling that the book says you need to have to be in your feminine. So the piece that I'm really picking up on for women that you're speaking to me, it sounds like receptivity is the real key piece here.
Completely. And I love that you said you could do all the right things, but if, for example, I'm not open to that and receptive of that, I'm never going to, you could have the most masculine man, masculine man, and not actually be able to receive that. Like you, and I really want women to hear that you are the living invitation. You must be the living embodiment to be able to receive that. No, you cannot just point your finger at your man and say, step up, be more masculine, lead me, take me on a date, send me a text that says, be ready at 7 and wear the dress. Like he could do all of that.
You send him the copy for his Here is the text sequence copy that you will be sending me over the next 2 weeks to reinstate polarity and for me to be in my feminine surrender. Warmest regards. You're soft, surrendered, deeply embodied, oozing radiance, feminine, divine goddess, lover.
And where was I don't remember where
Sorry,
I was going. That's okay.
It's a bit silly.
Yeah, I don't remember where I was going. But yeah, that's... my mind is empty. You can't. And something I've also was speaking on social media in the last week or so is that, and I've said this many times before, that it is such an ick. It is when a man says to a woman, and I hate when I see this in the polarity space, there's an expectation of surrender. So when a man's like, just surrender, right?
No.
When if a man was to say that to a woman without providing safety, without providing containment, without offering the depth of his presence, that is just demanding a woman to surrender without creating the environment in which she needs. A woman is going to do the complete fucking opposite, right? That's actually repulsive.
Yeah.
And for women, it's really important to honor that we can often do the same thing to men. We can be like demanding, like, be more powerful, be more masculine, lead me, but simultaneously not be creating an environment where he feels safe to do that. We're criticizing him. We're trying to control how he leads and how he brings his power. He's bringing it in moments, and then we're saying, no, not like that. No, not like that. Here's how I would do it. Or in the smaller ways of like, you could be asking on a Tuesday night, can you lead me more? Can you take me on more dates? Can you do this thing? And then on the Wednesday, he's said that he's going to go and do something with his friends, and you're like, oh, you're always out. Or then you're driving with him and then you say, why are you going this way? Or he's scrolling his phone. Why are you always on your phone? Right? That is not an environment where a man will feel safe to bring his leadership, because you're constantly communicating, I don't trust you. Right? I don't trust you. And so this is the piece I really want women to hear, that you can't just point the finger at your man or a man and say, bring me your leadership. You are part of that equation. You're a part of that co-creation. And like you said before, that receptivity, that openness, that offering him appreciation, celebrating the moments he is taking risks, honoring him, respecting him in those ways is like so fucking important. And then in your own body, being so devoted to meeting the parts of you that want to control. Like, this is going to be so fucking confronting. This was so fucking confronting for me in those first few years of really shifting our dynamic, was meeting all the parts of me that wanted to like fight you when you were leading. Like when I remember this one time when we were driving to a restaurant, and I literally was just like, I just like felt so uncomfortable, and so like my body was like, almost like fighting. I could feel the parts of me that just wanted to be like, you're going to get it wrong. I don't trust you that we're going to the right place. You're going to fuck it up. Oh my God. And almost wanted to sabotage that moment so you did get it wrong. So I could just be like, see, told you, and I could just be comfortable again. comfortable in the seat of making decisions, and I'll just do it because I can trust myself and I know I'll get it right.
It's easier to do it myself.
It's easier to do it myself. If you're a woman that wants to be ravished, claimed, and led, you must be willing to meet the part of you, right? And be with the discomfort of being with the part of you that thinks you know best.
Yes.
Right? And thinks it's easier to do it yourself.
Yes.
Right? That's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be sitting at a restaurant and potentially thinking, I wouldn't have picked this one. I would have actually picked the Asian joint down the road. And then you've just got to be with that part of you. Notice that part of you. And then can you find the receptivity under that part of you? Can you go, oh, hi, you're welcome here, part of me that thinks I know best and thinks that I would have had a better time if I chose or I controlled the situation. But actually, I'm going to practice taking a deep breath and opening my body. I can feel the part of me that wants to make him wrong right now. So I can be right. And I can come back into the part of me that wants to feel familiar and in control. Okay, I can feel and acknowledge that part of me, but can I breathe down into receptivity? Can I open? Can I speak that part of me into the space? I used to do that all the time. You'd make a decision or you'd share something and I'd say, oh my God, I can feel the part of me that wants to make you wrong right now. I can feel the part of me that's struggling to let you make a decision for us or let you lead. That's powerful when something is spoken into the space, right? Then you got an opportunity, or I could even say, I can feel the part of me that's like really uncomfortable letting you lead right now and I want to be in control. Can you help me? Right? You can ask for your partner's support in that moment.
Yeah, and I think that level of awareness is really powerful too, because you're sharing what's going on for you without it being a projection. I just want to look up, I'll see if I can find this. Like I wrote a post about this a while ago. I can't remember when it was, but I'd like to read it if I can find it.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I can't remember where I put it. It was a reel a while ago. But yeah, I really feel that that awareness and being able to speak it just takes it out of the guessing. I'll be like, oh, I want to push this down and I don't want him to feel this part of me because this isn't what I want to bring. I want to be in my receptivity. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be this. Once you voice it, we can both we can almost bring some lightness to it. Sorry, I'm not speaking to the mic. We can bring some lightness to it and then we can start to ground it. And then that's when a hand, hey lover, thanks for sharing that with me. Don't worry, I've got us. Don't worry. And if you feel a little bit unsure, you just let me know. But I'm going to go the way I know. We're going to have the food that I've organised. And if I get it wrong, I get it wrong.
You're really good at You often say that. And it's, next week we'll go on another date and I might get it right, but I also might get it wrong. That's part of the game. Yeah. Yeah. And I think I love that you said speaking it out therefore creates an opportunity to play with it. And I was having this conversation with women inside Full Spectrum Woman last night. We're speaking about jealousy, when jealousy arises in the relationship. And if we're just trying to pretend we're not a jealous bitch, or there's no part of us that's a jealous bitch, that part of us is then going to come out in manipulative ways.
Yes.
And it's the same with any part of us. If we're at the restaurant or driving in the car to the restaurant and we don't know where he's taking us, or he's taking us on a surprise date or something, and we can feel the part of us, it's I need to know where we're going. I think he's going to get it wrong. Does he know I'm gluten-free? Does he know that I don't feel I hope he doesn't take me to Asian? There's that inner conflict. And the part of us that's rising up is what I call the controlling bitch.
Yeah.
It's the part of us that wants to have control. If we're pretending in that moment, no, that's not a part of me. Breathe, open, surrender. I'm a feminine goddess. Sometimes that's not reality. Sometimes the reality is, hey, my love, I am just feeling this part of me that's my controlling bitch is coming out right now. And I want to be able to open and soften. And I love expressing this. I want to be able to open and soften and melt into you tonight. And I can also feel the part of me that is wanting to fight you and wanting to tell you you're wrong.
This is the unraveling. This is the unraveling of stories. And you get to unravel rather than throw. And it's an unraveling. It's this needs to move. And all that is moving energy. And when you have the awareness and the impeccability, I don't know what the integrity, right. Whatever it is. If you can do that as a woman, we're like, hey, I need to share some stuff that's going on. I feel like I want to control you right now, and you're going the wrong way, and I don't know where we're going to dinner, and I really don't want to have Asian. I'm gluten free, and like I don't really want to eat dairy right now, but I'm also like I'm drinking alcohol, so I wonder if they have any like other drinks on the. Oh my god, I don't drink tap water. Oh, all right, and then like that, when you bring that energy into the space, that's an invocation. You're invoking this space with an invitation. I'm saying too many words. You are asking for his containment in that unraveling. You are asking for his containment by presenting an unraveling of your feminine, of this story that no longer wants to be stuck inside of you.
Yes.
And that is a beautiful, because like that, all that takes is a hand on the knee and like, don't worry, my love, I've got us. I can see that sounds really hard. Come here. I get it.
Yes.
And then you get to drip feed a bit of information. Well, guess what? This place has gluten free.
Uh-huh.
And it's not Asian. We're going somewhere else. And don't worry, I've checked how to get there. And this way, you can make it to the restaurant this way. And we're going to be on time. And don't worry, I brought a jacket as well, just in case you get cold. But they've also got blankets.
Yes. And if you're a man that hasn't thought of those things and your woman is bringing up all of those things, that's also a beautiful beautiful information for the future.
Exactly.
So if you realize, oh, she's worried about getting cold. Okay. A way that I can support her to be in her body rather than in her head thinking that I haven't thought of everything is next time to make sure she has a jacket.
I'll just give a masculine fucking cheat code here. Always, like, just have a bag in your car. Like, just do this. This is a direct fucking order for all of the men out there that want to hold some form of masculine containment for a woman. Have a bag in your car. Have socks. Ooh. Have a towel. Have a blanket. And have a spare jacket in your car.
That's actually the sexiest thing when like we've been out and I need a blanket or like we want to sit down somewhere. Like this happened, I think it happened on my birthday last year where we wanted to sit on the grass and I was like, I don't really want to sit on the grass. And you were like, I got a blanket in the car. You're like, hey, I'll be 2 minutes. I'm going to go grab the blanket from the car.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, like you've solved the problem before it's even become a thing.
Yeah.
And again, not that we should expect our man or feel this sense of like, why didn't you have the blanket? You should have the jacket right now. But there is this beautiful thing when a man is able to, because again, what we're craving, if we look at the masculine and feminine, the masculine is holding consciousness, right? And this supports when a woman doesn't feel like she has to out-conscious a man. So think about, is it going to rain? Is it going to do this? Where are we going? When a woman believes that or can trust that he's got that, he's holding that pole, she can melt into her body and melt into, being embodied in pleasure, in her aliveness. And so, that level of containment can really support a woman.
Once again, masculine cheat code for all of the men out there.
Yeah.
Have a bag in your car, blanket, socks, because her feet are going to get cold.
Good quality water.
You know what? Buy an RV. Take every single thing that you own with you everywhere you go.
So you can meet her needs in every
three
single
of everything. Never not think about her needs and always meet her expectations and never ever fuck it up. Joking. But seriously, like it is such a beautiful thing when you can fulfill a desire because you've thought about things from a greater perspective, from a more conscious place. So this is just a great one. Like I haven't I'm yet to meet a woman that doesn't get cold when it's not that cold. It's like it's not that cold. But for a woman, it can be. So it's like, have a towel, have a blanket, have a pair of socks, have a jacket, And if you can, get an umbrella and get a really cool umbrella. Get a really sexy umbrella. That's such a gentleman thing. But if you have those things, you're kind of prepared for like, oh, if you get caught in the rain, you've got a towel and then you've got a blanket. If you want to lay down on grass or it's wet or you want to lay down on the, you've got a blanket. You know, if she hops in the car and her feet are cold, she can put socks on.
All of those things are so sexy.
And there's nothing more like fucking just boss is that when a woman's cold, you can give her your jacket and she just like gets to like have this oversized jacket on that smells like you and she just starts to like go all soft and gooey. And it's like these are like micro things that lead to the beautiful like eruption of like of deep love.
And invite her into her body. Invite her these and because you're a woman, you can't just say, trust me, I've got it, right? When a woman has a lot of tendencies to control embedded in her body, it's going to take time and you have to offer her grace as well on that path. And these moments where you're able to say, oh, I've got the jacket, or don't worry, I know that the restaurant's gluten-free. You're offering her these moments where it's basically saying, or in her body, it's going, okay, I can take a deep breath. Okay, I don't have to control. Okay, he's got me.
Yeah. And one of the things, you know, this is your leadership may require you to go above and beyond. If you get to the restaurant, so let's just keep using the restaurant as an example.
Yeah.
If you get to the restaurant, right, you get there and your woman, your partner is cold. And they don't have blankets and you live 5 minutes away. What do you do? Do you stay there while it's cold? What do? Do you have a decision to make? What's actually going to create more containment for you guys to re-engage, like to return to a place of like openness? Is it that you sit there for the next 2 hours as she shivers and closes, or do you duck into the Woolworths, it's, you know, just down the walkway, and do you buy a cheap blanket so you can put it over her knees? Do you quickly zip home and get another blanket and bring it back? What do you have to start making decisions and getting resourceful and adapt.
That's really sexy.
You get to the restaurant and there isn't any gluten-free options, and I'm also yet to meet a woman that isn't gluten. There's a lot of women that are gluten-free as well. Cold and don't eat gluten.
High maintenance we are.
Yeah, so they're the two. Like, for me, it's like if you get there and there's no gluten-free options, you can sit there and she can have a glass of water while you eat, or you can be like, okay, hey guys, we didn't realize that this was there was no gluten-free options. We're gonna have to cancel our booking, and we're gonna find somewhere else to go and eat. And then you literally get on the phone, you ring another 2 or 3 restaurants, you find the one that's gluten-free, has gluten-free options that are viable, and you say, hey lover, I messed up. This one doesn't have any gluten-free options. I knew that you were gluten-free, I just didn't remember. So what I've done is I booked this other restaurant. We'll have a drink here and then we'll go down. They're going to have a table ready for us in 20 minutes. I know it's a bit later, but it is what it is. It's like you get to adapt and move with the decision-making process to continue to create containment, to continue to create, you know, that field of consciousness where she sees you not just making one decision and expecting for the rest of the night to go perfectly. Like you're constantly engaged with the field and making those decisions. And that's kind of that's the role that we get to play. That's freedom is found through responsibility in these kind of dynamics with a relationship.
Yes. And even I thought of a question before, if you are a man that's wanting to really hold that masculine pole and you're noticing your woman's controlling tendencies or her tightening or her contraction, and she's not quite resting into the containment you're thinking you're providing, a beautiful question to ask is, what do you need to relax into tonight? What do you need to relax into tonight? Or today or whenever it is.
Yeah.
But what do you need? So it might be, I'm actually really cold. Like maybe it's okay if you can't attune to every one of her needs before she speaks it into the space. So this can be, if you can just tell something's up, you can say, hey, my love, what do you need to relax into tonight?
And the energy of that Meg speaking into, like beneath that, like if you ask that question, you can ask it as if there's a problem that needs fixing, or you can ask it as if there's an invitation for you to lead it on an even deeper level.
Yes.
For you to embrace a deeper level of leadership. So if I see that Meg is closing, I'm like, what do you need? Like, just tell me what you need and I'll get it. there's a level of urgency and a need for me to fix your discomfort because I don't feel comfortable. But if I say, hey, lover, what's going on right now? What do you need to be able to relax right now? If you could have everything that you've ever wanted in this moment, what is it that you really need? I'm just really cold. Amazing. Thank you for letting me know. I'm going to organize a blanket for you right now. Oh, no, don't worry. Don't worry.
Say that.
No, it's fine. No, I'm going to go and get you a blanket. Let me go and see if they've got one here at the restaurant. They don't have any blankets. They're going to bring a heater around, and then they bring the heater around. Oh, it's out of gas. Okay, I'm just making this extravagant so it sounds like I'm the greatest man alive. So, okay, cool. All right, I'm going to get ducked down to. I'm just going to. Coles is around the corner. It's still open. I duck around. I buy a blanket for $27 or whatever, and I just fucking suck it up.
Yeah. And
that $27 is part of the sacrifice that I make in order to create a sacred container.
Yes.
For you to soften into. And I come back with a really soft, fluffy, cheap ass fucking Coles blanket and you wrap it around your legs and instantly you soften. Instantly you're like, he's got me. My needs and desires are valid and valued by him and he's willing to do what it takes.
That and the version of a woman you get when you do go the extra mile in this, when you are attuned, when you are devoted to this like containment and like leading through these messier moments, the version of your woman you get to receive is delicious. Like, and like you are part of her, you are part of offering her an experience that she aches for, which is to soften and surrender and open.
100%. And this will all, this is the role that that a woman will play in this is to continually to relax into receptivity.
Yes. Continually
relax into receptivity. If you wrap that blanket around your legs and you say, oh, how much was it? Don't tell her. Don't fucking tell her. That's the rule. Another masculine cheat code. When she goes to ask for more information around how you did the thing, she doesn't need to know.
You don't need to know.
Irrelevant. Tell me more about you.
Yeah.
Irrelevant. What do you feel like for dinner? Let's order a drink. Let's get this show on the road. Yeah, but how much was it? Doesn't matter. And you're not allowed to ask me that question again. Look at the menu. You get to then play on that. Like it's because if, you can be receptive in the moment, but then you can backtrack like, oh, how much was it? 27. Oh, I'll send you the $27 now. And you're like, no, fucking there's so many ways in which that sabotage your receptivity by like trying to put, receive, but then kind of like manipulate it back into I'm still in control though because I'm going to pay him and not create this like, oh, I'm in debt to, I owe him something, but that's not it. Like he did that because he wanted to, and that's the truth. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't want to do it. That's what I always say. Yeah.
Would you like to read your post?
Do we feel complete?
Yeah, this has been an epic conversation, I feel.
Is there anything that you need? You've got your little blanket.
I've got my little blanket, yeah.
Do you need socks, a jacket, an umbrella or a towel?
I've got socks and a blanket right now and tea.
So you just need an umbrella and a jacket and a towel and then you'll be so receptive.
Okay.
Another good thing, another masculine cheat code before I read this poem. We if you are like driving somewhere early, just put a pillow in the car.
Oh my God, you're amazing. I'm the biggest passenger princess because of you. You're incredible at preparing the space before I get into a car.
It's so funny how happy that can make someone, especially if it's your partner. You can do it for anyone, but like if you're hopping up to go somewhere early, like kayaking on someone's birthday and you put a pillow in the car, like you just seem like they're like, oh my God, how good is this? You are so good to me. You put the pillow in the car and there's a blanket here and I'm having the best time ever just sleeping in the car. It's such a, feels so powerful as well. So that's another little cheat code, but I'll read this poem. Yeah. This is an offering for all those who yearn for deeper intimacy. It's a bit vulnerable to read this. I haven't actually read through it all. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is relevant. I'm just making sure. I can do it myself, she says. I pause for a moment. She obviously has it handled. There is no need for me right now. but there's a twinge in my chest. Ah, no, it's nothing. Chivalry is dead. If she really wanted me to do it, that's what she would have said. We are all equal, I guess. I convince myself there is nothing I can give her she can't give herself. But there's still this twinge in my chest. And when I listen, it tells me to stop thinking and get out of my head. Go deeper than the words, go beyond her walls. Her need for independence has her holding her breath, waiting for you to listen to her heart, not the words she has just said. Her heart whispers, take me, lead me anywhere. Show me you're listening to the yearning that is really there. I won't surrender to your questions or suggestions of what I need to fix. I surrender only to the penetration of your full heart, the part of you that knows me better than I know myself. So yes, I could do it myself, but I don't want to. My heart is pumping and my body comes alive. It's time for the nice guy to die and the man to arrive. This defies logic and makes no sense. Regardless of my resistance, I take a deep breath and lean all the way in.
That's so beautiful.
And that's the dance, yeah? Such an important... Oh, Django's done. It's such an important thing to really, really attune to the heart. And I think that's when we talk about receptivity and openness, that's what we're really talking about, is like this opening of your heart and trusting love and trusting each other and trusting... I think that this is like really believing it, that, you know, that love does exist and it does actually conspire, or it's conspiring for you guys to have a beautiful, beautiful experience of life together.
Yeah. And to evolve each other.
Yeah.
I love really feeling that my desires are not only in service to me, but in service to you, and vice versa. What you crave most from me is actually in service. It's like I'm here to evolve and become more of that.
Yes.
And yeah, when we get to see our relationship as that dance and like this evoking and inviting like the deeper gifts from each other's being, it's how can we take offense to our partner's desires then? It's like in service to us. It's for us as much as it is for them.
100%.
Okay.
This is a really fun conversation.
Love ya.
Love ya. I'm super excited for all the women joining Claimed as well, yeah?
Yeah, I think there probably would have been more info in the episode.
Oh, yeah, cool. No worries.
Yeah, but if you...
I just think it's cool. Like, yeah, like this is a big part of your work, I think, you know, and I just want to celebrate you, my love, for the way that you lead. I think there's so many amazing women out there leading in business and leading their lives so powerfully and have this deep desire to surrender. And that just isn't about finding the right man. It's about finding the man that is willing to meet you in the process of this calibration. Yes. That's the piece. So I'm really excited for all of the women that are joining you for Claimed.
And I know this, so Claimed is my in-person immersion happening in July. So if you can get yourself to the Gold Coast, you're going to want to be a part of this.
So
and it is the women that are really drawn to my work and specifically Claimed is if you are a high achieving woman and if you are a woman that knows how to get what she wants in the world and really lead and make decisions, and you're not desiring that in your partnership, you want to taste, you know, the oceans of surrender that are available to you. You want to be able to melt into the containment your man offers you, whether you're currently in partnership or not. Like this is a practice that starts first in our own bodies, which either invites our current man into more of his power, or it invites, you know, the caliber of man that you deeply desire when you are out there in the world of dating. So this is going to be 3 days in person, deeply devoted to becoming a space for your man's claim or your future man's claim, your future man's leadership. And again, this is about, you know, meeting in the body these parts of us that want to control, meeting the parts of us that don't want to receive, and really stepping into and bringing alive these these qualities of receptivity and deep surrender, and also feminine leadership, and learning how to be a woman that opens her heart, breathes down her walls, and expresses herself, brings forth the controlling bitch, brings forth her jealousy, doesn't try and hide these parts of herself, but really unapologetically claims her full expression and her full spectrum. So you're going to want to come.
Yes.
So you can go to, it's application only. I don't know what date this is coming out, but maybe you still have a few days for early bird. Early bird ends 31st of May, and you get a big discount with the early bird. But go to meg-o'neill with 2 L's.com/claimed-immersion for all the deets, or just head to the link in the show notes.
Right on.
Okay.
Epic episode, my love.
We'll see you next week.
Bless up.
Thanks
Big love.
for being here. We love you. Bye.
Peace.